with the women's side?
We have a women's section at the shelter. There's not a lot of privacy, though. It's just in the back, next to the women's washroom. The men aren't allowed to go there, but there's no walls, there's no screen. It is just on the other aisle across from the men. So it's not a lot of privacy. So that makes it difficult for people. And you're staying right next together with right beside other people. So we have our clients last year were about 20% were women. And what we found, though, is that women tend to move through the shelter system faster than men. They're able to get out of the shelter a little bit quicker, so that the turnover is a little quicker than men.
Why is that?
Probably for a lot of reasons. There are some programs and some organizations that are dedicated to helping women. YWCA, Servants Anonymous, several other kinds of shelters. So there's a few more options for women for housing that they can take advantage of. Also, women can they can hook up with different gentlemen,
right?
A little easier, and so in some ways they tend to move into relationships, and which may help them to move out a little quicker than men. So there's a few options there. So they do move through quicker, but in some ways they're more vulnerable as well. So there can be quite a cycle going on, and women have the same issues as men as far as addictions and things like that may keep them in this cycle of poverty and homelessness. So those issues are the same, and women have them just as much as men.
And what would bring a woman here? Like, what would make her homeless?
Oh, there's many reasons. From very simple, just not being able to pay the bills. There was a lady that I was talking to recently who has an apartment and still actually has that apartment, but she hasn't been able to maintain the utilities. So she couldn't pay for the utilities, and they were cutting off the utilities, so she actually came here. So she's trying to get some employment sorted out so that she can take care of the utilities and actually manage her own place. However, it's difficult when you're getting on. I would guess that she might be 60 years old, and so getting a job at that age isn't always easy, especially if your skills aren't really developed in an area. So it could just be employment issues and just basic poverty, not being able to pay the bills. It could be an addiction, anything from alcohol or drugs to gambling. Those kind of addictions, they suck all of your money out, and you end up you can end up homeless very easy. Sometimes people Calgary's an expensive city, so to get an apartment you need a pretty good income. So many people will join together with somebody else and live together. However, if that person has an addiction, or maybe they take the rent money and instead of giving it to the landlord, they use it for some other purposes, and suddenly your landlord is evicting you because you didn't pay the rent when you actually did give your roommate the rent. It just didn't go to the right place. So many times the people here at the shelter don't have the kind of safety net that we have. We have family. We have friends who could help us out in a pinch, who could be a good influence on us, could be helpful, whereas most of the people here, including the women, don't have a real helpful circle of family and friends. whether that's been eroded over the years of having difficulties and they've fatigued, or whether mental illness or something like that has come between and there's a break in relationship for whatever reason. But that circle of relationship and community, when you don't have that, it really sets you back, and you're very vulnerable to becoming homeless and to having difficulties that where with some help and with a good circle like that, you can weather that storm. A lot of the people here haven't been able to weather those storms, and they're much more vulnerable to issues that come up.
Wow.